Hi everyone, welcome to Beardychiel's Knitting Banter. It is Friday the 15th of September and I am at home. It's about 2 p.m, 1:30 p.m, 2 p.m, and I am finally at the stage where I'm ready to record this week, having got through Perth Festival of Yarn last weekend. So I thought, podcasting time. Welcome to those of you who are returning viewers, and for those of you who are here for the first time, I hope you enjoy the podcast. I will try and make it as interesting as possible, but when you get to my age, with my stunning good looks, etc., it's not always possible. I am John Glenn, the host of this podcast, better known as Beardychiel, and you will find me as Beardychiel on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram and Ravelry. If you're looking for me on email, you'll find me at beardychiel@gmail.com. If you're looking for my own website, it is www.beardychiel.uk, and all of this information has been on the screen as I've been chatting to you. I don't bother typing it all up into show notes and putting it underneath, so just go back a bit and pause for a second, take a note of it if you need to. Other than that, the name Beardychiel is fairly unique. If you can spell that, search for me, you'll find me. In this episode, we have quite a lot to get through. I haven't set up a second camera for the second time in a row. And why haven't I bothered doing it? Because there's so much to get through and I want to cut the editing time down, so a single camera job today. We have some works in progress, we have some finished objects, we have a little bit of information on the Rhodes Retreat 2018, we have some information on some teaching that I've been doing, information on Perth Festival of Yarn, and the results of 3 giveaways. And there is a new giveaway coming, and we'll talk about that at the end of the podcast. So, where to begin? That's a lot. So I have a feeling some of this may be slightly abridged. Some of it may be, I don't know quite what the word is, nipped in the bud. I'm going to try and prevent as much waffling as possible, but you know me, I do like a blether. And I do tend to chat too much, and I can't really help it. It's just one of those things. So here we go. I'm in the conservatory at home, having a nice quiet day. Works in progress. Why not start there? I haven't done any filming in the comfy armchair this time. I have been working away, having a chill out week after Perth Festival of Yarn. It was really, really exciting, and decided to have some chill out time. So, I've spent a little bit of time typing up patterns, I've spent a little bit of time knitting, a little bit of time crocheting, and it's all been really quite chilled out and quite wonderful. I've had a couple of short chats with my friend Eva Christie, and I think she was chilling out as well. It's been quite pleasant, I have to admit. I've thoroughly enjoyed myself. So let's start these works in progress. We'll start with one that you saw last time. The Art Nouveau shawl, which are the Art Nouveau inspired shawl, which is being test knit by myself at the moment. The charts are done and the prototype test knit is coming on apace. The first shawl repeat is in. I'm a third of the way into the second shawl repeat, I think. I've done a little bit of work since last time. Not a massive amount. I think I was just starting to work on the second shawl repeat in the last podcast, so it's getting bigger. The rose motif and leaf motif works well, the tulip motif is coming on nicely, and I had to start thinking about a name for this beastie. So a name has been chosen, and this will be known as La Tulipe La Rose. the tulip and the rose, because those are the two flowers that feature in it. And since it's based on Art Nouveau, why not give it a name in French, just for a little bit of a change. I have a couple of friends who watch the podcast. My friend Carol Darmady, who is French, and Laurence from Gone Crafts, who is also French, but they both live quite happily and are adopted Scots, and we love them, and I'm sure they'll enjoy the fact that I've given a pattern this interesting name. So that's that one. I'm really happy with that. It looks nice, it feels nice. I'm going to try and get that finished over the next week or two, because that's an important one. Next up are the Dragon Scale socks. Now you've seen these start to evolve, so there we go, there's the front of the Dragon Scale sock, whoops, and there's the back of the Dragon Scale sock with its short row heel in place. So, nice, plain vanilla base, short row heel, and then dragon scales front and back of the leg. I'm almost 2/3 of the way up where I want the leg to be. This isn't going to be a very, very long sock. In fact, I'm aiming it to be exactly 50 grams of yarn. So we'll finish this off, finish with a short cuff, and that's number 1 done. The yarn for number 2 is in the bag. And would you believe I took that off to Perth Festival of Yarn, and I forgot to take an inch tape with me. Consequently, while I was away, I bumped into my friend from Knickknacks in Johnson, who had several inch tapes with her and gave me a little inch tape to put into my project bag. So it's living in the Scrappy Yarn project bag. I've discovered that my Scrappy Yarn project bag works beautifully for a pair of socks. The only thing I'm thinking is, because the needles occasionally poke through it, I think I will add a lining. I'll have a look for just some really simple lining. I might even look to recycle an old shirt or something, just to create a polycotton lining for it. I won't necessarily go to the trouble of buying something for it. The fact that it's using scrappy yarn, I think I want to use something recycled as a lining as well. So that's that one. Next whip, well, that's 2 whips. Work in progress number 3. Here is work in progress number 3. It's on a set of Knit Pro Symphonies and a short cable, and it's my hand washed, hand carded, hand spun, turmeric over dyed Ryland and Swarbles blend. And I decided, since it got the loving name from somebody who looked at it and named the yarn itself Hagrid, I decided that an appropriate use for it would be a set of fingerless mittens. So, fingerless mitten number 1 is duly complete, and I'm knitting for myself in this. So here we have fingerless mitten number 1, happily done. In this yarn, it is cosy, it's just a nice length for me, it's 2x2 rib at the bottom, simple rib pattern through the body, the stocking stitch thumb, rib top, single rib top there just to pull it in, and what else can I say? That's it. It's nice and simple. I have to say that in this light, the turmeric dyeing does come across rather well. The fibres that have been pale grey have turned bright orange, and in the mix with the brown, they look really, really good. So these are, it's been knitted in 4.5mm needles, so that was an evening's work. Started that when I finished the other one, and I'll probably finish that tonight. Ian, grandson Ian, Beardychiel's little assistant, who a lot of you know, was in yesterday and said, "Ooh." I said, "Do you want some?" try it on, tell me if you think the wool is jaggy or uncomfy or anything. And he just hugged me and he said, yes please. So when I finish this, the same pattern, 13 sizes smaller, will be the next sort of mini project. So those, for the time being, are my whips. Nothing else has had any work done on it, so there's no point in throwing any of it back in front of you. So, finished objects. Well, finished objects, there are now officially 3 finished objects, 4 finished objects. There are 2 versions of the travelling texture shawl, which is my contribution to with this skein, the Perth Festival of Yarn companion pattern collection. The shawl that appears in the companion pattern collection is knitted in merino and silk, fingering weight yarn from Gongcrafts in Sutherland, and the yarn is absolutely incredible to work with. It is lovely, so nice, so soft, so squishy, and the shawl is with Eva in Perth because she was using it for promotional activity at the festival, and it's still there, and it's just stunning. I really love it. Photographs of the shawl can be seen on the Perth Festival of Yarn website, along with the other items that are in with this skein, and I'll talk about that when I do my festival roundup. So that's there. The prototypes for that shawl are home with me, both mine and my test knit from Penny Lewis, my regular test knitter, and I used those as teaching aids in my class on Saturday to show how 2 people's interpretation of the same pattern, based on their personal likes and colour choices, could be completely different or look so completely different. So the folk in the class at one point had 2 identical shawls in different sets of colourways that suited the individual knitters who produced them. My original prototype, which I knitted for my own use, which is in browns and greys. Penny's, which is her choices, which were a soft blue, a pink and a burgundy. And I have to say a blue, a grey, a pink and a burgundy. And they both look absolutely fantastic. And I should really go and get them and let you see them, but I'm going to save that for another episode because there's too much to get through. Finished object number 3 and 4 are project bags. You know that I've been using up scrap and trying to get rid of it, and last time I was here I had started messing around with some old chunky yarn and Tunisian entrelac to produce a little something for myself, and we have here the finished project bag, and you'll see that it incorporates my hand spun botanically dyed Jacob, some mohair, some wool and acrylic blends. There's a little handle on it, and there's a little flap on the front, and it's held in place with a couple of press studs, and it's massive. It's too big to be a hat. As you can see, my wife said when I did this that it was a vast improvement. I think she's a cheeky bism, but that's a fair size, and that happily takes experiment. Grace from Babel's Travelling Yarns yarn going in here. That's 100 grams, 200 grams. So you'll get 2 good sized skeins in there and some pins. So that's a reasonable sized project bag. Total cost, again, couple of p each for the press studs, nothing for the yarn because it's all from the scrap bag. So that was that one. nice and cheery and fine. And just to have, because I've been doing a little bit of crochet and thoroughly enjoyed it, I thought it only took a night, let's do another one. So here is project bag number 2. Now project bag number 2 is again pulled out of an old bag of scrap. There's a Tunisian crochet strap on the end, and there was a ball of double knitting purpley stuff, and there was part of a ball of double knitting orangey yellowy stuff. It was actually a vibrant yellow. It looks orange against the purple, but this time again just a couple of pop studs holding it closed, but this time knitted in a single sheet, 35 stitches wide, 35 chain wide, knitted down the front, or crocheted down the front, crocheted up the back, then crocheted a slightly reducing at one end lid, popped the press studs on, and lo and behold, a finished project bag. And what I've done is I've gone for using it as a stitch sampler. So there are different examples of different types of Tunisian crochet stitch. There's a simple stitch border all the way around, and there's a sort of, let's see, there's some stocking stitch, some reverse stocking stitch or mock purl stitch, there's some simple included, and there's, I can't remember what else I've put in there, but it was fun to do, just an evening's work, because it's chunky, it's done in a 6mm needle, 6mm hook, it comes up really quickly, and again a good size. This one again is going to take 200 gram skeins without any problem at all. I'm not going to fast it again, and I would say it's about 12 inches wide, 10 inches deep, and like the others I think it's going to need some form of recycled, what can I say, recycled lining thrown into it just to stop needles poking through it. That doesn't bother me too much. I am thinking that we were about to recycle, or we were about to bin a black and white patterned polyester and cotton quilt cover, so I might actually just swipe that before it goes to the recycling and cut it into the panels that I need to make the linings for these bags. And that, for the time being, is my finished objects. It's nice to have something crocheted for a wee change, and that leads me quite nicely into my next item. Beardychiel has been out and about sharing his crafting knowledge. You know that at Perth Festival of Yarn I was teaching a shawl design class. I've been talking about it for 2 or 3 episodes. We'll get to that later. But last Wednesday, the 6th of September, I went to the other side of Caithness. People in Thurso would say I went to the dark side, near Wick. People in Wick would say I came to the glorious side. And I went all the way through Wick to the village of Thrumster. And I went to Thrumster Village Hall to meet the ladies of Thrumster SWRI, Scottish Women's Rural Institute. These are the people who are the expert bakers and expert crafters in every town and village around the country. You find them in Scotland, you find them in England, you find them in Wales, and I think you find them in Ireland. The WRI or the WI, depending on where you are, are the crafting and baking experts, and I went to teach them Tunisian crochet. I walked into a room and there were just over 20 ladies there, ranging in age from about 12, because they had some teen members, all the way up to people who were a year or two older than myself. I'm being polite. I think there were people there who were possibly formally retired, but it's not polite to put an age on it. And some of them had been crafting for years, some of them were knitters, some of them had done some crochet, some had done no crochet whatsoever. And I took them some finished objects. I took them some 4 foot long flexible Tunisian crochet hook, 6-inch hook with a 3 foot 6-inch cable in the end. I took them a 10-inch Tunisian crochet hook that had been gifted, passed down to me to look at, and I took 20 odd balls of scrap yarn, just sort of minis, 20-30 grams, odd acrylics, some lamb's wool, some Aran weights, some 4-ply, some chunky, and I said, help yourself to a hook, help yourself to some yarn. You have a choice of 2 classes. So they could either have a general introduction and learn 4 or 5 basic stitches, just working along 10 or 12 chain and working their way up and trying out multiple stitches. But no, they didn't want that, because one of the items that I had with me was the Minecraft blanket. I don't know if you remember Ian's Minecraft blanket. It's about 6 foot long, 4.5 foot wide, and it's done like that one. It's that style of Tunisian entrelac. That's what they liked, and that's what they wanted to try and learn in a 2-hour session. So I said, okay ladies, if that's what you want, that's what we try. And we made a start, and I talked them through it bit by bit, and I went around and spoke to some of them individually. Some of them lashed off and did wonderfully well. Some struggled a bit but got there in the end. Some said, that's convinced me, I don't crochet for a reason, I now know why. My head, my hands and my crocheting brain don't all work at the same time. So it was really, really good fun. Absolutely super fun. They were a lovely bunch. They had some wonderful questions to ask. Everyone was willing to have a really good try at a new technique. One of the ladies, who I would say was several years older than myself, came up to me and said, I have never seen this before in all the years I've been involved in craft work. It's fascinating. Where can I find out more? And we spoke about where she would find other resources. And at the end of the night, I was asked, would I come back another night? So it looks as if at some point in the new year, because they've got a full session up until Christmas, I may be invited back to go and see them and work with them again. I don't know if we'll be working on the same thing or something else, but it raises some money for charity. It's a worthwhile contribution to the community, so I'm going to be giving my time if they ask for it. There was a lady there from one of the other local branches in Bilbster who said, will you come to Bilbster if we ask you? And I said, well, again, we're raising money for charity, of course I will. I would love to say that I'm going to teach, and I'm going to make a commercial go of it, and it's going to bring me in some income. And very occasionally, yeah, maybe I will take an evening in a local yarn shop or something and do a formal hour or 2. But if I get something like this in my local community for charity, I will donate my time, because encouraging people to start crafting is well worth it. Now, I know, or I'm hoping, that as we work on this today, there should be a new viewer. And if I just nip in here for a second, the new viewer, I'm thinking, will be Craig of Craig's Crochet Creations, who I think is in Edinburgh here in Scotland, and hadn't come across any other male crocheters. So Craig, hello from Thurso. You found me on Instagram. I hope you found us on YouTube as well. And the fact that we've got a little bit of crochet in there for you today, I hope you've enjoyed. Please don't feel alone. There are other men in Scotland who crochet. There's at least 2 of us. There must be more. And if there are any out there, please get in touch and let us know you're there. It'd be nice to share experiences with you. So that's that one. Thrumster WRI, super fun. Happy to do it again. Well, that's gone quite quickly. Let's get to the big bit. Perth Festival of Yarn 2017. Last Friday, Janet and I set off just before lunchtime to head for Perth to meet up with Eva Christie and some of the other tutors and vendors and start our weekend, because we were going to be there Friday night, Saturday night, come home on Sunday and enjoy the entire festival weekend experience. Although the vendors gallery, the sales part of it, was only open on the Sunday, it was really, really nice to be able to spend time doing something sort of fibre-y and talking to folk on the Saturday. So down we went, and we arrived in our hotel about early evening, just about 7. The traffic on the way south on the A9 because of roadworks was awful. It took us ages to get there, but we did get there safely. Booked into our hotel, and we were staying in the same hotel as a couple of other podcasters and vendors, and class attendees. So we settled in, and I grabbed my mobile phone and I sent a quick text message to Nathan Taylor, optician, who was staying there, and we arranged to meet up for dinner. We did, we met up, and it was lovely to see him again. We had a nice chat. I got some extra information on his amazing Trans-American holiday. We talked about the work we were doing and what we'd been up to over the last little while. We talked about knitting, we talked about yarn, we ordered some dinner, and then we had an extra person come to join Nathan, Janet and I for dinner, and that was Lise from Trailers Colour is Power. Our furthest travelled vendor, Lise, had travelled from Athens to Perth to sell yarn at Perth Festival of Yarn, and she was a breath of fresh air. She came and joined us. She has a wonderful sense of humour. She's an incredible dyer. She produces stunningly beautiful yarns. I cannot get over the range of yarn that she produced. It was absolutely gorgeous, but her sense of humour, her conversation, out of this world. She was just she's just a natural crafter who fits in, blethers, shares life experiences, shares yarn stories, shares knitting. What else can I say? And to travel that far with a massive box of yarn posted in advance and a suitcase full of yarn to sell, she's mad. She's absolutely loopy. but beautifully loopy. She does podcast, and anyone who sees her podcast, she's just put up something about 2 hours long about the festival, and I would say go and watch it. She is, what's the word I'm looking for? She has wonderful charisma. Forgive me, my nose is getting itchy. Great charisma, great personality, and I think I might have to adopt her. She's about the same age as my daughter, and she has a wicked sense, as I said, a wicked sense of humour. So we had dinner, we had a nice long chat, and then everyone gave up having travelled that day and went off to bed. We met, some of us, at breakfast the following morning briefly, and then we all went off to do our separate bits and pieces. Nathan was chilling out and getting ready for his class. Lise met up with Inga Rosa from Iceland, who'd come down to take a couple of classes and go to the festival, and I think they did some sightseeing and some chatting and some knitting. Janet and I went off to do a little bit of shopping and to catch up with friends, Richard and Leslie Ann and their little 1-year-old Callan. We had lunch with them, and he was super. He was just another little bouncing bundle of fun. Well, you look at him and you know that we have Ruben and Leo, who are 2 and 1 respectively, and to have another 1-year-old around was just absolutely lovely. Brilliant personality, looks like his mum and looks like his dad, top half like one, bottom half like the other, and a nice cheery wee soul. Spoke to Janet, wouldn't speak to me because I was a strange man with a beard. Can't blame him. I mean, a sensible way to be. And after that, we went off to the festival venue to catch up with Eva and Josh, her partner, and see how things were going as vendors were coming in. And Eva said, "Oh, I'm glad you've come in. There's a couple of little odds and ends. If you want to volunteer some time this afternoon, we could do it. I could do with some spare hands." So we both said, "Of course we will." And Janet wandered round doing a couple of little jobs for Eva. I went on to redirecting traffic as people were arriving, helping them to find parking spaces. Josh ran around helping folk to get unloaded and in from their vans, cars and whatever, finding the right tables, getting their stalls set up, and it was amazing how many folk were set up and ready to go on the Saturday, ready for the Sunday. After that, we all went off, had a couple of hours chill out time, and met for the Perth Festival social evening at the Lovett Hotel, with an amazing Indian buffet provided by Tabla Restaurant by Parveen Kumar. The food was lovely. Oh, the food was so nice. Thoroughly enjoyed all of it. I could have ate until I burst, but I didn't. I was very sensible. I had 2 lovely platefuls. That left me feeling full, and I thought I'm going to stop there, because if I don't stop there, I'm going to fall asleep. Had a couple of soft drinks, had a couple of gin and tonics, I must admit. Did spot some orange coloured gin on the gantry and had to ask, what is that? And it was Dundee gin, marmalade flavoured, because Dundee is famous for Duke, jam and journalism and the marmalade industry. I had to try it, didn't I? So I had one of those to taste, and it was very pleasant indeed. So I thoroughly enjoyed that. And by that time it was getting on. We'd wandered from table to table. We'd chatted to Lise, to Nathan, to Kirsty Little B, to Josh, to Eva, to Clive and Laurence from Gong Crafts, to the folk from Midwinter Yarns. There were vendors, there were people who were going to the festival as customers. There were the tutors, and we all just met and we sat and we had food, drink, conversation, knitting. There was even someone sitting spinning, and it was hilariously funny. It was brilliant, really, really nice. Oh, and I almost forgot. The biggest blether of the evening was, of course, to Helen Duffin, Sprite 966. Hi, Helen. Who was there for the weekend as well, and it was lovely to see Helen. She came in full of energy and blethered and blethered and blethered, and we had a lovely evening. Gave up on that, went off to bed, slept like a log, and got up at 7 the next morning, straight into a lovely hot bath, had a nice soak away any tensions of the night, aged bad back, gone, ready to face the day, breakfast, and by 9:45 we were at the festival venue. Had part, I wasn't teaching until the afternoon, so I decided I would go in early, say hello, chat to some of the vendors, take the chance before the public were in to nip around with my GoPro and film some of the stalls and maybe chat to a couple of people as I was passing. As it was, everyone was so busy, I didn't do an awful lot of chatting. I did spend a lot of time looking at stalls, and I discovered something absolutely wonderful. What did I discover? West Green Loft Yarns is what I discovered. Why is it incredible? Because I walked up and we were looking at the yarn, and I was talking to the owner, and she said, yeah, and this yarn is called Caithness. And I said, oh, I live in Caithness. She said, my husband's from Thurso. I said, I live in Thurso. She said, oh. And then we had a couple of the conversation continued, and it transpires that I think I've taught their nieces and nephews. Which was quite good fun. It was absolutely, what a small world we live in. So we had a nice chat, a nice long chat, and then I moved on. And you'll see some of that as we go through the video, and I'm going to stop here, pop in some Yarn Festival video, and I'll be back after this.
Morning, Pat.
Hiya.
How are you?
The rest. We couldn't get here yesterday because we've been away all week, so
Oh, God.
it's all sort of left to the last minute. We came down last night,
Right.
but trying to get set up in just a couple of hours was tight for us. So much stop.
It's wonderful, though.
You alright?
I am fine, thank you very much.
You're in the shop,
Yes.
so yeah.
I stopped in for some odds and ends on my way south. I'll give it to Eva.
Well, would you?
No problem. Oh, they're looking nice, aren't they?
It's alright, yeah.
It's looking good.
Take a bit manoeuvring to get up there going. However, over here.
Wow, it's all fitted together nicely, hasn't it?
Ah, yes. Amazing what you can do when you have to.
It gets there. Good morning.
How are we doing?
I am fine, fit and fine, ready for a day's madness.
Good. Good, good, good. Me too.
It's fine to eat breakfast.
Morning, Lindsay. Not bad, yourself? Oh, relaxing. That would have been nice, but I don't mind. I can live with neon yellow.
I've got a wee
bag and I took all the neon yellow back. It was orange as well, it was too busy.
Oh well, that's... Morning. Yeah. Morning. I'm fine, yourselves?
Radiant and joyous, radiant and joyous.
Lovely.
We didn't get much time. We only got here at 4 o'clock yesterday. So
I know.
you saw me. We didn't get much time to. Yes, I do remember now. Oh God.
But it's all coming together, really looking quite good.
Got massive stuff. So you're right.
Right, I've got to go and finish my wander round.
Sets off the colours, though, doesn't it?
You two look so chilled out already. That's wonderful. I know.
We're always like this.
I love it. Absolutely love it.
What are you teaching today?
Shawl design.
Are you?
Yeah, top down shawl design class. John Glenn. Beardychiel.
I thought you were.
Yes.
Beardychiel. Shawl design.
Yeah.
So using software or?
No. From first principle, I've been a design teacher for 20 odd years in schools, and when I retired I decided to make what I've been doing for 46 years for fun my profession.
Fabulous. And do you knit, obviously?
I've been knitting since I was 10,
It's just amazing.
so
Well, we
it's
missed
wonderful.
out today on coming to see you because obviously we've got to be here, but how many people have you got in your class?
It's about 7 or 8. Fine, not too big a number. Just nice for a first. It's the first outing for this class.
And I started this last August.
Yeah.
It's my 3rd show this year.
You've got some really. I was looking last night after you'd left, and I thought I could go back for that one, and I could go back for that one.
Well, it's really funny because when I die, I don't die and think, right, I'm going to do these 6 colours and they're all going to blend. But what I do about 3 weeks before a show, I put the grid walls up in the spare room, and then I just think, oh, and then I run upstairs and think, oh, I need that colour to go in there and that colour to go in there. So it's like, it's not organised chaos, but then when I put it up, I think, oh, it's right. But these are my Scottish colours because my husband's from Thurso.
We live in Thurso.
You don't?
Yeah.
No way.
We live at the top of Scrabster Brae.
I bet you know his mum.
Rita McIntosh down on the harbour. His dad used to be Stanley McIntosh, the plumber.
Yes, I know the name.
Yeah.
I taught at Thurso High School.
Did you?
Yeah.
Well, you wouldn't have taught my husband. He's 52 now.
No. I only went up there 20 odd years ago.
His nephew Ryan McIntosh was there. Ryan McIntosh and
The strongest man, isn't he?
yeah, he's the strongest man. Yeah, well that's my nephew.
Yes, I know exactly who you mean. Oh wow, this world is so small. No, I retired. I was in Thurso High School for years as a technical teacher and as a guidance teacher, and then I jumped ship and went through to Wick High School as deputy rector for 5 years.
Wow. Well, that's these colours here are called Caithness.
That's the. Funnily enough, that was the one that I thought I might have to go back for that one.
Yeah.
Now you've told me what the inspiration is.
These are Caithness. This is Sutherland.
Yeah.
This is Groti Buckies.
Oh God, yes. It makes perfect sense.
And then these are just the colours to go with them. So.
Oh, that's lovely.
Because you know the ruined church in the harbour?
Yeah.
That's where Vicky and Tosh got married.
We got married there.
They got married.
Oh,
20 odd years
wonderful.
ago.
This is Peter's. Oh, St Peter's Kirk. We got married there 1996.
I'll come back. I'll come back round in a little while for it.
Yeah, that one.
That one's perfect. Yes, thank you very much.
Lovely to meet
you?
Yes, and I hate to say I'm wandering around with my camera on because some of this will pop into the podcast, and the oh god moment may have to be one of those bits.
Oh, lovely to meet you, honestly.
That's wonderful.
I can't get over that.
Well, next time we go up to Perth on holiday.
Yeah, give us a shout if you're coming up. We'll catch up and get us.
Small world.
Crazy.
It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
As well.
Oh, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. I'm guessing it's Sarah.
Hi, yes.
John.
Hi, John. Nice to see you.
Nice to
How
finally
you doing?
catch up with you.
Yeah, and you.
Oh, some of the stuff's looking wonderful. I love the range of greens.
Yeah, no, it's amazing what you can get from plants.
Oh no, it doesn't surprise me in
Yeah.
the slightest.
So you pleased with turnout of stallholders?
It's
Yes?
wonderful.
It's great,
It's
isn't it?
looking really, really good.
Good. And this is the second year, is it?
This
you've
is
done
the
it?
second year.
Fine.
Eva's put it together and I've worked on the website, and it's just the little team with Tracy, Eva and myself sort of doing mutual support and things. I mean, it's Eva's baby, but
Yeah.
It's
You need
really
backup.
good fun.
Yeah, oh good.
it's really good fun.
Excellent.
And to have such a diverse range of
Yeah,
vendors
no, I haven't had time to go around yet, but it looks
from
great,
so
doesn't
many
it?
different locations.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
wonderful.
I think it's brilliant.
I mean, to think we've got a vendor from Athens.
Well, there you are.
Is-
International.
Yeah, I mean that was unexpected,
Yeah,
and
wow.
she's hilarious. She's wonderful.
Oh, good.
She chatted and chatted and chatted last night. It was super.
Did you have a good evening last night?
Oh yes, we had a wonderful
Good.
time. I have to say that some of the vendors, Gong Crafts, myself, Lise from Trailers, my wife Janet, and a couple of others were the last to leave.
It's always
There are always some. Morning, Sheila. And how are you this morning?
Not bad at all.
Morning.
Good morning.
You arrived safely then. It's looking nice. The setup's looking really nice.
Thank you very much. Nearly there. Yeah, it's well, this is big goes back. Okay.
Oh, my wife is coming to visit you, I think. Yes.
Oh, how lovely.
She was looking at some of the bags online and thought, oh, I'll just wait till the festival.
Oh, lovely. Oh, I've been very busy.
I can imagine. But you've arrived and got set up nicely.
Yes, it's quite easy because I don't have lots of room to set up.
Yeah.
It's a bit easy.
Wonderful.
Yes.
They're looking lovely.
More on my bags.
Yeah, I told her you were coming.
I need to go up
How was the run from Kirkintilloch this morning? Oh, that good. I'll see you later. Hi.
How are you?
Not bad. I don't think we actually spoke yesterday. I'm John, who you were sending your web stuff to. It's looking fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, we've not done a big yarn show before, just smaller, sort of regional, just vaguely craft and stuff, so it's been like, trying to get everything.
No, it looks wonderful. It looks wonderful. Hi.
Hello.
All coming together quickly enough for you?
Yeah, getting there.
I like too many of them. That's the problem. They're easy to like. Morning, Mrs. Have you managed to fit in enough odds and ends?
Morning. Yeah, I think so. Just a few lights to go on and then we'll be fine.
It's looking really swish.
Thank you.
Looks good.
Thank you very much. The whole place is looking amazing, isn't it?
It is.
Awesome.
Once it fills with people who are wanting to spend, hopefully,
Yeah.
it's going to be even better.
Exactly. I can see it.
Good.
Absolutely. Got there in the end.
Well, I've been singing your praises for the last week and a half
Thank you very
because I
much.
went mad and bought Stitch Mastery,
Stitch Mastery, that's right.
and it's been absolutely fantastic. Things which I've done by hand for years suddenly.
Now you have time.
Well, there were 2 80-odd row charts for a new lace project that I'm working on, and they went in an hour and a half. As a complete beginner just looking at the software for the first time. So you can't ask any better than that.
John, are you collecting the info disc? Am I able to use that chair? Because I don't really need it, or is it fine?
You can leave it, or if you want to get rid of it,
Okay.
I'm sure there'll be somewhere it can be put
Alright, thanks.
safely.
I'm still wandering around.
Still wandering around.
What are you up to today?
I'm doing some video recording for the podcast
Oh, excellent.
and trying to get a shot of some of the stalls before it gets too busy with people to see them.
Nice.
And speaking to a couple of the vendors and finding some absolutely incredible bits of information. Like I got to the other end of the hall and I was talking to someone and she said, yeah, we love being here. My husband's from Thurso, and my wife and I said, do you live in Thurso? No?
Definitely.
Hello, Mrs. Kirsty. How's the setup going? Put your podcast face on because I'm recording.
I want a GoPro. Would you recommend it?
I think it's super.
Yeah.
I mean, stick it on, I'll get 2.5 hours worth of recording
That's pretty good.
just with it sitting on my chest here, and
Because you always forget it's there.
it's set wide, so it'll pick up about 180
Yeah.
degrees,
Yeah.
quite high and low, and I've got it set to 720 resolution and 60 frames a minute, so I'll get a good quality out of it.
I do want one. It's on the 2x.
This was my Christmas present last year from Janet. It's the only reason I got one.
Tempt Scott that badly.
Well, you never know. Just smile at him a lot.
True.
I won't put that in the podcast. No mention of GoPros in Kirsty's section of the podcast.
So you all ready?
I think so, yeah. All my stuff's sitting in the car, ready to go.
You got any must
ca-
buys?
Yeah. Marvel project bag. Keep it for me.
That one?
Yeah.
Done.
What am I owing you?
15.
Right, I'll come back once we officially open and give you some. No, that's cool. I love that.
It's nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it's Not one of my favourites, but I definitely like it.
Just look, see what you've
You're
bought.
on the video.
Oh, I haven't actually bought anything yet. This is my podcaster's goodie bag and my t-shirt. Yes, I got a lovely little surprise when I came in. And I'm going to go, once I finish my little bit of recording here, I'm going to go and swap this shirt for my t-shirt.
Well, everyone, if you don't know who I am Kirsty of the Little Wee Podcast. Please come watch my podcast and jump onto my Etsy account. Totally plugging myself there.
And this is Kirsty's little sister.
Yes, totally.
Thank you.
See ya. Oh, those look nice, don't they?
I'm a sucker for a fibre braid. I've got.
I could see me spinning some of that.
Yeah.
Oh no, those bats.
I'm hoping to get a new wheel after Yarndale. Because I've just been using a drop spindle, but I've sort of developed some sort of like recurring wrist.
Well, I have an Ashford Traveller at home. Right, I'm going to buy this time. I've avoided. It's not that I've avoided buying. I've run out of money before I get back to use the last 2 shows I've been at. And I'll make a point of making sure I've got that signed so that it features when I do the podcast later in the week.
Okay. Yes. No. Perfect.
There says there's Wi-Fi here. You need to
I'm going to stick with 4G because the Wi-Fi is
Hello guys, we're up in the Podcasters Lounge at Edinburgh Yarn Festival and it's going mad. There are folks stealing selfies with this loony. Say hello, Nathan.
Hi everybody, hi. Hasn't this been a fun festival so far?
It's been wild.
It's amazing.
I wonder if we'll both fit in that. It's a widescreen
There's
view,
quite
so
a
it
lot
should be
of
fine.
people down there. It's looking really busy. When I arrived there were very, very big queues of people and it was raining, so it didn't seem to put anyone off.
Which is good fun. I'm told they'd gone all the way out past this building and past the swimming pool next door.
Yeah.
So that was one heck of a queue.
I think it's a bit of a jump up from the festival last year by all accounts.
Oh heavens, yes. I think I'm going to go and have a look at the festival hall because although there's footage of the individual stalls,
Well, that was your wander round Perth Festival of Yarn. Don't those stalls look fantastic? Well, the shopping was equally fantastic, and it resulted in a haul the likes of which put a smile on my face. Oh, what a smile. Do you want to see it? Are you sure you want to see it? Because it's sitting just here. Let me get my haul bag. This is my haul bag. So I'm going to start with these. I bought a pair of knitting needles from Wool and Wood. They're hand carved. They are MM. So I'm guessing possibly mediums. I haven't put them through a needle gauge yet. They look to be about 5mm, but one has the most amazingly gorgeous elephant on the end with his trunk down, which I'm told denotes strength. If his trunk was up above his head, it would denote luck. And needle number 2 is a thistle. How appropriate. And this is from Wool and Wood, who are a linked project, I think, between Scotland and Malawi, where these things are made. And they buy in these handmade products from Malawi by way of a sort of fair trade venture. So I got those and this lovely bag to keep them in. I haven't unwrapped it until just now because I think it's absolutely fantastic. Look at that. Is that not just the cutest? Giraffes and efflumps. I think it's absolutely super. What a lovely way to keep your needles. So there you go. My African handmade needles are in my African bag and I am super happy, especially with the elephants. I've got a bit of a soft spot for elephants. So, you know, absolutely and reasonable value for money. I paid a little more than you pay for a cheap pair of needles. I didn't pay much more than what I paid for a set of, about the same as a pair of Knit Pro Symphonies. Wooden needles. But with a hand carving in the end, much better value for money. So that was those. And then project bags, you have to come home with a project bag. I came home with two. My wife bought one for me and she won't let me have it. She's hidden it away. She says I might get it for Christmas. But I was at Little B's stall, Kirsty Bissett's stall, and I found a marvel project bag. Captain America, the Hulk, Iron Man, Spider-Man. Oh, I'm in Marvel heaven here. Thor. I don't know if the X-Men appear in this one or not, but beautifully handmade by Kirsty. Lovely red zip and a really nice a lovely little white filigree pattern lining, which is really, really nice. I haven't decided what's going into this project bag yet, but that's part of my haul that I'm really, really happy with, so that can go over there. And we're into the yarn. So, first skein that I fell for was this one. It's silver grey, charcoal grey and black. It's called Riothart and it's by Uist Wool. 3.75 to 4.5 millimeter needles, so it's roughly a DK weight. It says hand wash in cool water. Riothart Spring Tides DK 100 grams, Cheviot and Sforbles batch RP 160, 245 meters per 100 grams. And it was, I do like natural colours, and I grabbed this and I thought, how's it going to be? Is it going to be rough on the neck? And no, it wasn't rough on the neck or on the cheek. It feels quite pleasant, and as a DK I had a feeling that might make a really, really nice hat. I really quite fancied that as a hat, so that came home with me. Number one. I don't want to put it down now that I've picked it up. So, Riothart from Uist Wools. I also spoke to the folk at Uist and said, you know, I'm really, really tempted to load up my cameras and get down and try and get in the ferry and come across and visit you. Oh, pardon me. My eyes feel awfully gritty today. And record a podcast. And they said, oh yes, please do. Come anytime, just let us know you're coming. Well, we'll have to wait and see. Okay, I told you about West Greenloft Yarn's Caithness. Here it is. And how do I know this is Caithness? Because it's got the grasses, the heather of the moor, there's almost the yellow of the gorse hidden in there as well. This is 100% superwash merino. It's 100 grams, 425 meters, cool wash, air dry please. And what can I say about it? It's absolutely gorgeous. Vicky McIntosh is the owner of West Greenloft Yarns, and Vicky, it's been a pleasure to buy from you, and I think I'll be hunting for you online after this as well, as I plan new projects, because some of the colourways she had were absolutely gorgeous. And as you can imagine, 100% superwash merino. This is lovely and soft. I haven't decided what this is going to be yet. I have an inkling, but I don't have a firm plan, so I'm keeping that one safe. And then, Trailees Lease I went to visit, and orange and red and a little fleck of green here and there. It's just, oh, scrumptious. This is called Zeus, 100% superwash merino, single fingering weight, 100 grams, 366 meters, and I have a feeling that this is going to go into a shawl somewhere. This is so wonderful. I think it's got to go into a shawl. Now, unfortunately, those two I don't think are destined to be together, but that is definitely shawl material for me. And I have a feeling, oh, what are those? If I can find something to complement this nicely, I think it'll go into the final version of this, because I know the colours are not quite what I would associate with Macintosh stained glass and things, but it's just such a nice yarn. I can see it going in there. So Lise, oh, I'm happy. Then I went for a visit to Ovis Yarns. And Ovis Yarns had these get the labels the right way round, you silly man, John. And I just loved them. I loved the purple, I loved the vibrancy of the yellow. It was super squishy because it's 100% BFL. Spun and processed in the UK, 4-ply, 100 grams, 400 metres. The purple one is called Blossom and the yellow is Sundrops. And these were super value for money. Because they were the end of last season's yarns, and the bloom, the squish on this BFL, oh my god, it's amazing. And these two I did pick up thinking that I might put them together, but when I saw them lying in the bag together with that one, I did wonder if the three of them might end up together as a trio. And then I thought maybe those two would end up together. And maybe those two might end up together. And the number of ideas that have flipped through my head since then, I just don't know. But these, when I first saw them, I was thinking shawl. And I haven't changed my mind. The purples in this one and the pinks are more Macintosh rose, definitely. So that has great temptations for me. But we'll just have to wait and see. So Ovis Yarns, again, the vendor, absolutely super fun to talk to and to be with. Can't fault them. It was super. And then I spotted her. Mothy and the Squid. And here we have Chromodorus. Yes. Chromodorus annulatus, I think. 75 merino, 25 nylon, 420 metres, 100 grams, sock yarn, and it's just absolutely amazing. It's whites and creams and yellows and purple. And what am I going to do with it? Well, this has a hole. I specifically went because some of the Mothy and the Squid yarns, when I see them, they just scream at me so much, do something nice with me, that this one, when I saw it, I knew exactly what I was going to do with it. And this is going to become a cardigan for Emily, the newborn I was talking about in the last podcast. My new great niece Emily is about to acquire a brand new cardigan. Because of her age and her stunning good looks, and as much as she's only a fortnight old, I think she might get cast on before anything else. Why? Because she's cute and the rest of you aren't. The folk that I might possibly knit with or knit for. So that from Mothy and the Squid is going to be a present for Emily, and it's just absolutely wonderful. Why do I get so excited over yarn? It's crazy. Now, there were 1 or 2 festival specials around, and this one from Cosmic Strings really appealed to me. Creams, pinks, dark teal flecks, little hints of purples, almost crimsons hidden in places. It's just absolutely gorgeous. It's one of the sock blends. It's 75 merino, 25 nylon, 425 metres and 100 grams. Cosmic Strings are from Edinburgh, and they are a super couple. They are really, really nice, and their yarn is superb. The quality of the yarn is nice. The colourway was dyed specially for the festival, and it's called Perth Special 2017. Last year there was a Perth Special dyed by David Rake's This Boy, which I bought and turned into a hat and a set of mittens. I think I might have to keep the tradition and do the same with this. It'll become a set of fingerless mittens, and it will become a hat. There should be enough, just enough. I'll have to supplement it with a little something, but I think I know what I'm going to do with that. So that's that one, and we're almost at the end. We have 2 skeins left, and here they are. This is from Midwinter Yarns, and it is their Ulcentrum 2-ply Swedish wool. And look at them. That one always vanishes against the jumper, doesn't it? Put it against the hair. Look, it's red. It's not just red. Not just red, it's red. It just screams red. And it's dark red, and it's tonal, and it's very subtly tonal, and it's squishy, and it's soft, and it's 100 grams, and it's 300 metres, and it's red on grey, and it's 100% Swedish wool collected from Swedish farms by Ulcentrum. And this is a silver grey. Again, 100 grams, 300 metres, lightest grey. It just feels absolutely gorgeous. Super value for money. I think it's going to knit like a light DK. But what's it going to be? Well, I have a copy of the Selboom Mitten collection patterns, courtesy of Ellie Skandia, and I have some forest green and white for one pattern, and I specifically picked these up for one of the other patterns. So this is going to be another set of mittens. I'm going mitten crazy. I'm smitten by mittens. Smitten by mittens. So that was my yarn haul. Oh God, it was fun. I'm going to leave it there. But the fun did not stop there. Because when I went in, Eva Christie said to me, I have a goodie bag for you. And she handed me this Perth Festival of Yarn tote bag. And in it are goodies. Now, I haven't been through all of the goodies yet. Some of them I may keep and use. Some of them I may use as giveaway prizes for some of you guys, because they've been kindly donated by some of the vendors. And it's just absolutely wonderful. So let's have a look at what's in here. First thing we have is festive Christmas stockings pattern. Christmas fun for the whole family. So here we go, a lovely set from Janice Anderson, the Old Woolly Alliance. These are going to be great fun, and I think they might make a nice pre-Christmas giveaway for the podcast, because it's coming up that time of year when people might want to collect something like this and turn it into something for the family. And I knitted a set of these for all of my family last year, so I think it would be fair to say I'm going to use these and give them to some lucky winner. Now, I have this bag here, and that logo will tell some of you that this bag has come from Dye Gilpin. And in it is a postcard, a pattern, and a lovely ball of, I don't want to burst the bag open, I don't want to cut that lovely binding, but there's this absolutely gorgeous blue-grey Lalland lamb's wool from Dye's collection. It's 100% Scottish lamb's wool, 50 grams, 175 metres, in the colourway Haar, H-A-A-R, which is a sort of a sea mist. The Haar comes in off the sea, it's like a wet fog, and this is sort of grey and blue marled. It's lovely and soft. Colourway Haar, Dialog 212. 50 grams, 175 metres, on 3.75 needles, so roughly a DK. Really, really lovely, and I'm going to sneak that, squidge that so that it slips back into that bag. And it's so nice, and there's a lovely, will it slip out? Yes, it will. Wonderful. There are two lovely cards showing some of Dye's design work with contact information on the back for anyone who thinks they might want to get in touch. And I'm going to slip that back in there, so that's goodie bag piece number 2. Goodie bag piece number 3. Goodie bag piece number 3 wasn't actually in the goodie bag, it was one of my purchases. And this is a Perth Festival of Yarn t-shirt for my darling daughter Sarah. So Sarah, your t-shirt has arrived, and I didn't give it to you when you were here yesterday because I had put the bag away neatly and tidily. I'd forgotten that was there. Now, on to some of the fun goodies. I have got a Dye Ninja Mini, and that Dye Ninja Mini is orange, and it's lovely, and it's squidgy, and Sheila, it's called Sunset Song, and Sheila Hewitt, the Dye Ninja's stall, is amazing. The first time I ever met her, I was impressed by her Terry Pratchett inspired range of yarns, and the fact that every time you buy one of them, she makes a donation to Alzheimer's research. And Sheila, your stall was amazing. Janet had a lovely time at it. And again, in here, from Caledonia Dye Works, another 2 minis, and they are stripy, and they are absolutely gorgeous. And in here we have a West Greenloft Yarns pin badge, and we have Fair City Knits new pattern. Oh, it's a voucher. Yes, I'll just cover that bit up. It's a Ravelry code for a brand new pattern launch. Happy days. And there's a 10% discount voucher for used wool. Oh dearie dearie me. That means that I might have to buy more yarn. Don't tell Janet. Well, you can't let a discount go unused. That would be that. Oh no, that would be licorice all sorts stitch markers from Woo Sheeps. Those would make an absolutely stunning prezi or giveaway. But do you know something? These are progress stitch markers are progress keepers. It's something I don't own. So that one I'm going to keep because I'm mean. Woo Sheeps. Oh yeah, there's a Woo Sheeps business card. That's good because I can go and find them online. And then I found these. It is a herd of baby elephants and it's buttons. And it's little wooden buttons with baby elephants printed on them. And they're from Lindsay, the border tart. Thank you, Lindsay. Again, these could become a giveaway prize. And I did think about that. And then I thought about having bought that. And I thought about who it was destined for. And I thought baby elephants on a new cardigan for newly born baby Emily would be absolutely scrummy. So I think that I might do some yarn giveaways. But the buttons might have to stay for great niece Emily. And then there's a bit in here that's specifically me. This was a gift put into the goodie bag from Tracy at Lagham Felt Studio. And it's a rainbow bat. Look at that! Look at those colours! Oh my god, I'm in heaven! Spinning heaven! What am I going to do with these? Oh, look at that red. Is that red not mind-blowing? And then, words fail me. Tracy, you are so generous and so lovely. So this is carded rainbow bat suitable for spinning, felting or just gently squishing and admiring. The squishing and admiring I can do, and it is so baby soft. It's lovely, 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 lovely. 100% merino. Oh God. 55 grams. It almost feels sacrilegious to want to spin it. I'm just blown away, and in that I've lifted it out and I'd almost left it in the bag, but Tracy had left a copy of her flyer and a compliment slip, a handwritten compliment slip with a little festival message on it, personally from herself. And Tracy, in response to what you've said here, you are an amazing woman. You're absolutely incredible. Your products are absolutely incredible. And I am just blown away by your support and generosity for Eva and the festival. The Podcasters Lounge was great fun for those of us who were up there before we had to go and teach. It was super fun. People did come up and have a chat, and that was really super. Do you know something? I'm gathering all this stuff in front of me and I've lost my rough sketch show notes. What can I say? I'm just blown away. A combination of all these stunning prezzies, my haul, the entire experience. The only thing I haven't told you about is the class that I was teaching, my top-down shawl design class. I went across with a sandwich, set up for lunch, set up at lunchtime, ate my sandwich, had a drink, had a cold drink, and checked that the laptop was running the presentation. It was appearing on the screen that was there. Made sure that my materials were laid out ready to go for the folk who were coming in, and I sat back and waited, and in came my class attendees, and they all showed up, and it wasn't as busy as I had hoped. I did wonder whether I would sell a whole class or half a class. As it was just on the half class. And it was super. A nicer bunch of people you could not have met. I did my opening presentation to them. I explained what materials they were getting, handed them out the materials, talked them through the design process that I use, and invited them to start making some decisions that would take them from coming in at the start of the day to going away with ideas generated, ready for a shawl, possibly with some swatching done, possibly with some design sketching done, and possibly with some charts made. So I had their notes, I had piles of square paper, I had pencils, they all came with needles, they all came with yarn, they all came with ideas that they hadn't known how to realise. And we talked about the things that make shawls important and why people want to design them, where ideas come from, how we think about colour, how we might use things like colour wheels to help us decide what we're going to put together, what we're going to use for contrasts. We get through a heck of a lot and a very quick input, which was about 35 minutes, 40 minutes. And the rest of the time was spent knitting, trying things, sketching ideas. And by the end of it, everyone had a shape in mind for the shawl, I think. Some had started knitting. Some had knitted and ripped out and tried 2 or 3 ideas and gone back to sketching again. Absolutely perfect, just the way every project starts. When you're trying to do something from the beginning, that's really important. And as I said last time, I did supply them with a set of patterns, both in chart and written form, for a set of basic shapes of shawls. Symmetrical and asymmetrical, crescents, triangles, the scarf, some of the more contemporary shapes. I gave them outline patterns which, if they take and they just continue with the increased patterns that are there, their shawls will grow and they can fit their patterns in. The furthest travelled, I had one student from America, Inga Rosa from Iceland, and the rest were folk from Scotland, with a wide range of expertise, and I have to say, a really nice bunch of people. I did set up my GoPro in the room and I said to them, do you mind if I put the camera on and get some stills or some video? And we got 2/3 of the way through the class and one of them said, you haven't switched that camera on yet. I said, well, as long as you're all happy, I'll put it on. So over to my class and I'll talk you through some of what's happening. Well, here we are, folks. We've sadly lost our American visitor who's had to go and start her journey back to her hotel. And the folk who are left, we've been working for 2 and a bit hours. And as you can see, with some knitting on the go, there's still some sketching and drawing on the go. There's some information going into tablets. And a lot of the resources we've been working with are lying in front of you on the table. So as you're looking from beside me, you'll see that red cone of wool is the Macintosh shawl sitting there being used as a teaching example. In front of that, 2 versions of the travelling texture shawl. 2 rows of yarn, which were a little surprise, which I picked up, and I gave each of my class attendees a couple of 100 grams of lamb's wool to take away with them to turn into a shawl. And on the table you'll see assorted sample shawls which I had brought with me for the class that day. There are about 10 shawls in total of different sizes and shapes, and we used those as part of the teaching process. Inga Rosa at the far end there is showing us what she spun at her class that morning. And I have to say that at this stage, I've reached what I call the redundant teacher phase, where I've done my teaching, I've been giving individualised input as and when they've needed it, but these folk are all advanced knitters. In my opinion. They all know exactly what they're doing. They all have a very good idea of what they want to try and achieve, and they're planning what's going to happen next, what's going where. Some of the conversation was quite surreal. As I say, they were an absolutely wonderful bunch. It was a very relaxed and laid back part of the day. So they have all gone away. Oh, that's me picking up a business card for the wool shop in Aberdeen. Because they were thinking that they might like to have a couple of classes taught there. And this is me doing my final little surprise for them. Each of the folk in the class, as we got towards the end, was given a copy of the pattern for the forest floor shawl. So this is them picking up a business card with the Ravelry codes on the back, and they all get the chance to knit Beardychiel's forest floor shawl if they should so wish. I have to say, from the initial presentation to making them handouts of the overhead projection slides, to giving them the sample patterns in chart and text form, supplying them with yarn if they wanted it, going through the sample shawls. We've had all of these shawls completely opened up. We've looked at the shapes, we've looked at the constructions, we've discussed colour choices in some of them. All in all, they were an absolutely lovely bunch of people to work with, and I would happily teach a class like this again any day. So, from the Saltire Centre in Perth, back to me in the conservatory. Well, that was the teaching bit. So what can I tell you? It came to an end. Janet came across and met me at the building I was teaching in. We loaded up the car, went back to the Dewar Centre, spoke to Eva, spoke to a couple of the vendors as they were leaving, said our goodbyes, and headed home. And I have to say, it was a super experience. When that festival opened, the queue went from the ticket desk back through the reception of the Dewar Centre, outside, down to the pavement and around the building. It was as big a queue as the morning queue that I'd seen, I'd say, for the pre-ordered tickets at Edinburgh Yarn Festival. I was stunned by the size of the queue. The number of people who wanted to come to that festival and enjoy themselves, and they all seemed to have a whale of a time. They all came in, some of them with their tickets in advance, so it just looked absolutely wonderful. And the Dewar Centre was a superb venue because there was plenty of space between stalls for people to walk around easily. Even with that massive crowd that was outside and people coming in after that queue was gone, it never felt crammed. It never felt you can't get to anything you want to see. It was really, really a nice crowd. The tea rooms upstairs were nice. The podcasters' lounge overlooking the vendors' gallery, you know, being able to stand and watch people going around shopping was really, really good. So, from my point of view, I had a whale of a time. It looked good. The members of the public who came and spoke to me as a podcaster were absolutely lovely, and thank you all so much for coming and saying hello. Two in particular, Pom and Lorraine. Now, Pom and Lorraine are two of the folk who are going on Beardychiel's retreat to Rhodes next year, and they were both at the festival, and they came and spoke to me, and it was delightful to meet them. And we are going to have one whale of a time while we're all off on holiday together knitting next year, and having the chance to meet them in advance was super. It was really, really good. It was just so exciting to have people walk up and say, I am, and I'm going to Rhodes with you next year. It was a bit surreal. I really, really had a wonderful time. And then it was done. Like that, just done. And the vendors were all packing up and going home, and the public had all gone, and the place was getting quieter and quieter, and time was getting on. It was almost 6:30 by that point in time, and we knew we had a 6-hour drive ahead of us. So we did our last farewells. We gave Eva a hug and got back in the car and came north again with some stunning memories of an absolutely wonderful festival. So that's that bit. What else can I say? I'm missing it already. And I'm told by Eva that 2018, the festival's going to grow a little and go from being a one-day vendor gallery to a 2-day vendor gallery, and I don't know what else she has planned, but I look forward to hearing her plans as the year progresses. I hope she has a couple of months of rest now, because she's worked non-stop since this time last year. I know she's been working since this time last year. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what comes next in 2018. It'll be mind-blowing again. And I'll have to use all this yarn up to justify buying some more when I get there. Oh dear, how sad, never mind. So that's that one. So where are we now? Oh! Giveaway results. Now, I put my mobile phone down here. Just let me get back into Ravelry, and I will give you the giveaway results, because they're all in here. And if I'd been... What do you mean you're not working? Isn't technology great when it behaves? 2 minutes, I'll grab a tablet, it'll be easier. Okay, let's see what we've got here. Oh, my nose is itchy. Right, here we go. Let's start with the Selbu Mitten Collection giveaway. And I can tell you that it was won by Mary, sometimes known as Mary Dan Axe Murderer, who lives here in Scotland. On Ravelry she's Mary Punk. Mary Dan Axe Murderer, I think, on Instagram. And it was lovely to see that one going to someone who I've met a couple of times, and she was in Perth with us, and I had spoken to her that day, came away in the evening, ran the random number generator, and her name popped up. Absolutely wonderful. So I had passed her name back to Skandia, to Ellie, and Ellie sent me, Mary sent me a lovely reply saying, a slight yarn fume hangover but totally worth it. What a lovely way to describe the festival. Oh, she's lovely. Mary is really, really nice. So the Selbu Mitten giveaway went to Mary. The Fergus sock giveaway, which I was running courtesy of Anna Friedland, or Yarnesty, who Yarnesty Anna Yarnesty, as a lot of people know her. She, oh, pardon me. She is an amazing designer, and she sent me a copy of the sock pattern, and I had a quick read at it, and it reads really well. The pattern itself looks absolutely lovely, and I'm really going to be tempted. I might go back into my stash because I have some tonally shaded green and grey, and I don't know whether I fancy a grey pair of socks or a green pair of socks. Oh, it's a terrible temptation, but that's beside the point. The winner of the Fergus sock pattern, courtesy of Anna, was also someone who was at the festival, and it was Buttonmouse01. So, Buttonmouse, we had a scream at the festival. I get, how in God's name can I manage to meet all these people and on the same day have them come up in a random number generator? That was 2 out of 3, which was quite incredible. So, Buttonmouse, that was that one. And the last one was with this skein, and the winner of With This Skein is on the other side of the Atlantic in Minnesota, and she is Knitting by the Lake, otherwise known as Beth. So Beth, congratulations, and we will make sure that your copy of With This Skein goes off in email to you. And wish you every joy in knitting it. I know that Buttonmouse is going to have fun with that, her win, and Mari is going to have fun with hers. So that was 3 giveaways, 3 prizes, finishing with the one which is With This Skein. And I will tell you that With This Skein, the Perth Festival of Yarn pattern collection, is available for sale on the Perth Festival of Yarn website, price £10. And in that there are 2 shawl patterns, a sock pattern, a mittens pattern, colour work mittens pattern, and a collection of hat, cowl and mittens together as well, called Moss and Stone. So there's Moss and Stone by Carolyn McPherson. There's The Argyle Mittens by Kirsty Bissett, Little B. There's This Fair Maid Socks by Sarah Brzezinski, also known as Tall Polish Girl. There's Macha, which is a shawl by Maddie Harvey. And Travelling Textures by myself. So, please feel free to get onto the Perth Festival of Yarn website, have a look at the photographs that go with the pattern collection, get tempted and buy a copy. You'll love it. I'm sure you'll love it. And that takes me almost to the end. Quick retreat update. Well, as I say, I met Pom and Lorraine in Perth, and we had a short chat about what's going to be happening next year. We're at the stage where I'm about to start collecting personal information for all of the attendees. I've got their basic sales information, but we'll start to collect the important information. I'm about to speak to Nathan and to Ellie, who are teaching, and ask them for the draft outline for the classes so that people can buy into whichever ones they want and they're preferred to. There are going to be 3 classes on offer. Nathan's going to be offering a double knitting class. Ellie is going to be offering a Norwegian colour work class, and I will be offering people a choice of classes. I will offer to do the top-down shawl design class if anyone wants it, but I will also offer a Tunisian crochet class, and it will be based around a Notions pouch. It'll be a small version of one of the patterns that I've been working on here. for finished objects, and I think we'll create a sort of 6-inch square notions pouch, just to make it fun and achievable in an hour or two. We should manage that in 2 hours. I'll be prototyping over the next couple of weeks to make sure it's achievable, but I think that'll be the range of classes that's going to end up on offer. Short synopsis of the classes will go onto the website for those who are going on the holiday, and they'll all get the opportunity, as I say, to bid into specific time slots with specific tutors for one of those classes, or for 2 of those classes, and if they want a third, we'll work that out with them. And what else can I tell you? There are still some spaces available. At the moment we're sitting at about 27 people attending the retreat. Just over half of them are knitters. So when you're actually in classes, you're going to be having a proportion, a teacher to student ratio of about 1 to 6. Between 1 to 4 and 1 to 6 at present. We can go up as far as 1 to 10 quite happily, I think, and if some more people want to come and join us, that would be absolutely fine. The entire concept of the retreat has taken another step in the last 24 hours, because I've actually had a tenuous inquiry about the retreat 2019. So someone thinking not next year but the following year again, and thinking about travelling from the US. Now this year's retreat is amazing because we have people from Scotland, we have people from England, we have people from the Republic of Ireland, we have people from the United States of America, we have people from Canada, we have people from Norway, and we have people from Greece. Now that is an amazing multicultural, multinational retreat. We have 3 tutors, we have some amazing food. I'm sure we'll find some amazing fruit juices and other drinks, soft or otherwise, while we're there. 2 wonderful excursion days, lots of sun, lots of sitting knitting, and lots and lots and lots of laughs, I hope. So, if you're interested in Beardychiel's knitting retreat in Rhodes, last week in May 2018, the website address or the web URL will be in front of you. Go there, click on the retreat page, the retreat tag, go into the page and explore. There is an email address there. If you want any information or you want to make any inquiries, feel free to message me. Get me on Instagram, get me on Facebook, any way you want, send me messages, ask questions. Well, I think that's just about me for today. I've got so much in terms of potential giveaways, I don't know quite what I'm going to do next. I do know that this pattern is going to be my first knit along. Okay, so I want to get this finished before October. I want to get it out to test knitters and I want to get it back, get it edited and have it ready so that in October I can start an October to Christmas knit along, and I'm going to use some of these prizes or some of the items that are here today as prizes for that knit along, and there is one more prize. Lise from Trailers, that absolutely fantastic Hellenic beauty and nutcase, handed me one of her project bags with a skein of yarn in it and said, please use this as a prize for one of your viewers. And it is absolutely gorgeous. And I was going to show you it today, but I've let Janet tidy it up for me and I can't remember where she put it. So when I was putting this together for today, I thought, oh dear, I'll have to tell them about it and show them it next time. So, by the time you come back and see me again, hopefully this will be finished, the charts will be done, and it will be out for test knitting, ready for the start of a shawl knit along, Beardychiel's first shawl knit along, and it'll be La Tulipe La Rose. And that's everything for today. Thank you so much for staying with me. I haven't done a roundup on what's been happening with the family or anything else because I just haven't had time. Over the next week or two I'll be concentrating on finishing this and finishing writing some shawl patterns that are needing to be completed, and that means that there may be 4 different shawl patterns, all due for all ready to go out to test knitting in the next 3 to 4 weeks, and I'll hopefully be looking for 2 test knitters for each. Keep your eyes on social media. I do have some volunteers already for some of them, but if I run out of volunteers I will put out an open call for help. And that's it. Having done that, I'm so excited again about the festival stuff. I'm going to have to go and make myself a cup of tea to calm down. So until I see you again, from Beardychiel, here in the conservatory, pardon me, thank you for being with me. Keep happy, keep healthy, cheerio.